The best way to understand it is similar to a headhunter for a company. So companies, they hire a headhunter to go out and recruit applicants for a position. And part of the reason of doing this is because they may be undermanned at their big company. And so rather than have to see a bunch of people who, will not fit the bill, they outsource that to somebody else. And so that would be my role for the company, to be in your company or, my client's company. I see a relationship almost like a business or a lifelong partnership. So that person might be a busy professional. Most of my clients are really busy, work high-powered jobs, or are working professionals that don't want to go through the process of sifting through all of the potential candidates. So that would be my job. I would get to know who the client is, and then I would go out in the world and just seek out who would be the best person to fit with that person. So I like to say I help people to find love, but I also work with them to keep it alive. Because some matchmakers, they only focus on the connection and introductions. And then other matchmakers like myself, we also continue to be of service and a support that you can come to keep the relationship going. I stumbled into it. I was in the music business. I worked with artists, doing artist development. I was like a liaison between the music label and the artist development side. And so students or young artists would come to me daily, and I would introduce them to professionals on the corporate side of the business and the creative side of the business, and then they would learn how the industry worked. Because when I was much, much younger, that was my focus. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be in the studio making music, and I had that opportunity. And but along the journey, I met a couple of producers who wanted me to be other than who I was. And so I said, sometimes when you run into a problem in life, you have to create a space for that. You're facing the problem, so as you go to solve it, you would say, you know what, I need to share with other people how to solve this problem. So I started that program, and it evolved into a film. I did. Well, I didn't do the film. Bruce Willis and Queen Latifah and Russell Simmons, they made a film about that program. And the film took me around the world, and wherever I would go, I would show the film and then engage with the audience. Inside the film were themes around love and relationship. And I started to notice there was a pattern that all of the artists were making music about challenges they had in their life because something happened with their parents, and thus their life was turned out a certain way because of that. Same thing for me. I came up in foster care, and when I got to really study why my mother and father didn't work out, I started to see a problem that I could solve. And I was always passionate about relationships. I was always the guy in school. Guys would come to ask me what to say to this girl, or write me a poem, and like how I put the words together. So it was always happening. And I think when you find your calling, a lot of times it's calling you, or people are calling you to ask you to do this thing, to perform, or to solve this problem, or help me with my accounting. So that's how you know what your calling is. So that's how I got into the business, just more of being a problem solver in my own life and then sharing what I learned with other people. I think by being black, the industry is much different. Matchmaking is a luxury service. What that means is that the money that you allocate for something like matchmaking is extra. You handle your necessities, your fixed expenses, and then if you have discretionary funds left over, then you can travel, then you can go to professional development seminars. You have extra money. And so people who make a certain level of income are the people who would hire a matchmaker. So one of my challenges is that economically, women have more resources and are more committed toward a long-term relationship. Specifically, black men are not in that same space. So there are more women than you have men. And so that's part of the challenge, getting men to a place where they want a long-term relationship, or would be willing to use the service to meet women. Because primarily, specifically in our community, more than other communities, men are not pursuing marriage at the same level as other communities. I think, you know, finding purpose. You know, we're here on this planet. We have, you know, a certain amount of years. You know, we spend half of that asleep or watching movies. And so why are we here? You know, at the end of it all, when you pass on, like, did it matter that you lived? What did you contribute? And so for me, I think I have a connection to just having people have happy relationships, happy, healthy relationships, because I am the product of unhappy relationships, you know? And I think, you know, God puts us through a process to give us a purpose. And so I believe that the things that you go through in life, that gives you purpose, that lets you know what? You know, Steve Jobs wanted to solve a problem, Mahatma Gandhi, you know, Martin Luther King. And so they are remembered for that purpose that was developed in them to have that desire to go and change it. And so I believe when I look at my life, my purpose is to help people find love and keep it alive. And so every time I'm able to do that, I just feel, you know, it brings me joy.
Thank you for watching A Wise Way. Subscribe to stay updated, share to pass the knowledge, or view our other videos on the left.